Hello. Today we're here to talk about Insight Labs Merit Matrix. The Merit Matrix makes it easy to distribute your budget increase amount across your workforce with just a few easy approaches. If you're logged in, go ahead and use your workforce to navigate into the Merit Matrix. So, step 1, clicking on the blue hyperlink, the tool wants to know how do you want to group your employees. A very popular grouping, of course, is department, but this turns into a drop-down to show you the potential fields based off of your HRIS data. Today, I'm going to use the grouping of manager name to be able to distribute across my groups. By making changes, the tool will always warn you that this is going to change your existing work, but let's continue. So now on the left-hand side, I see all of my employees are being grouped by their managers' names. Using the blue caret up at the top of the page, we can now edit our budget increase. By coming over to the tab that says percentage, we can edit the percentage amount of increase that we are looking to distribute across your workforce. Again, changing the total budget will override our settings, but we do want to continue. And of course, on that same black bar, we see the ability to include or exclude employees based off of certain criteria. So now this menu will allow you to potentially exclude certain groups or only look at certain groups depending on your strategy. You also have additional filters by setting compa ratio or potentially looking at last pay change or date of hire to really isolate groups of employees who qualify for an increase. If that is applicable, absolutely go ahead and click apply. But now that we have our settings, we're ready to select our group. By selecting a group, you'll notice that the status will move to in progress. So looking at the group by department manager, I want to take a look at the performance approaches. So you have the option between including range plus performance. This would be your internal pay range, so your grades or your job-based ranges. Or you have the possibility to potentially just look at this with market data. So updating the market data approach, now we'll see our employees on a grid based off of whether they're falling below the 10th or above the 90th. It also is taking in consideration on the y-axis performance, top performers at the top, low performers at the bottom. So there's a few more tweaks we can make to our approach. Hovering over the percentage of budget for pay range, you can determine how do you want that pay to be spread. Using that green pencil, perhaps you don't have performance ratings, and therefore it would be 100% of the pay range based off of the market data. So now it's only going to be looking at how your employees are falling in the market in order to give a recommendation for your increases. So of course, people falling below the 10th percentile are going to get a larger percentage of that increase as opposed to people who are potentially above the 90th. You can make additional tweaks to how this is being distributed by using the slides. So potentially keeping those people who are already above the max from really maxing out, you can use that slide to adjust that percentage of increase that would be appropriate for that employee. And therefore, maybe making a little more room for people in the middle to get more of an increase. So using those slides, you can update the approach. Up at the top, there's also 3 different approaches to choose from when it comes to how conservative or potentially how aggressive do you want to be in your budgeting reward cycle. So clicking on these tabs, you'll notice those percentages will change depending on your strategy. So an aggressive approach is going to give a larger percentage of increase to people falling below the minimum, and people who are above the maximum are going to get a much smaller percentage. So choose that approach that works best for you. Up at the top, we see our current budget amount, the percentage and dollar figure, as well as how is that going to impact our budget? What will that new number be? If you've made all of your adjustments and you're ready to see your recommendations, come over to the right and download this file out into Excel. Now in our Excel file, we'll easily be able to see what is our midpoint, if we have a midpoint within the tool, as well as the new proposed salary, the budget increase, and how that new salary is going to compare to the market data at the 50th percentile. Also included would be compa ratio and their new range penetration, if that's applicable, and you have those structures set in the tool. So with those adjustments to the settings and your approaches, it's really just that easy to use the Merit Matrix tool to distribute your budget increases across your groups. Thanks so much for watching.